So I'm thinking like if Iran were to fall,
Yep.
and that whole region were to be like friendly-ish basically to the United States, that just seems like a really good state of affairs for us. Because aside from Iran, like who would give us trouble there?
Well, I think the only reason they give us trouble is because of our foreign policy, right? So like, I think it's better to just like not, give Israel all this aid and let
But we're
them
like, if we're
hash it
this
out over
close
there.
to like a whole region being friendly towards us, but there's like an issue still with Iran, do you think we should just exit completely and risk losing the entire region to Russia, China, India?
No, I see your perspective. What I'm trying to say is like the Arab world really doesn't like us.
Myron Gaines is about to drop truth bombs so explosive it could reshape your entire view of US foreign policy in the Middle East. Destiny's out here casually defending America's interventionist love affair with Israel, while Myron's spitting cold, uncomfortable facts. You'll see that we've spent billions of dollars on a disastrous chess game, inadvertently turning Iran into a nuclear bomb patriot state on steroids. But wait, there's more. Did you ever wonder why Saudi Arabia was suddenly eyeing BRICS like a hot new date? Maybe, just maybe, it's because Uncle Sam's constant meddling turned the region against us faster than a vegan at a barbecue contest. Yeah, Myron went there, and trust me, Destiny isn't thrilled about it. So sit tight, strap in, and get ready, because this isn't your grandma's Middle Eastern debate. Let's dive in.
Like, so, okay, I'll give you an example. So like when Biden was in, right, like Saudi Arabia was flirting with BRICS, right? And it took Trump going over there, right, playing off like, I'm not friends with Netanyahu, went over there, met with, the leader of Syria, al-Shara, aka former Al-Qaeda guy, we'll lift the sanction off you, and then we'll meet with the, we'll go, they give him the jet or whatever. Like, we almost lost Saudi Arabia to BRICS. My bottom line is that, like, and I think you would agree with this, Saudi Arabia just does what's best for Saudi Arabia. Like,
sure,
whoever,
but I mean, like, who would you rather have access to? The United States, who's like signaled that they're going to have a strong interventionalist policy, or like when it comes to defending your interests, or somebody like Russia, when Putin sits by and watches Gaddafi getting by bayonets, or sits by and watches Assad's regime completely and totally collapse, or watches, Syria be involved in a civil war for 10 years, or watches Iran crumble because Russia can't handle its own war right now. Like, it feels like the U.S. is a good ally to have in your corner, and then we can defend and ensure trade. Like, let's say like the Houthis were up to their, shenanigans, and it wasn't the U.S. that was interested in that region. Let's say it was fucking China or Russia. Like, who is to say that the Suez would have ever opened again? Like, would they have had the capability to even send ships down there to? And does Russia even have a fleet anymore that they could send?
They would have. Like, they would have. But my bottom line is that like the Saudis and a lot of these Muslim countries or these Arab countries, they already don't like us because of our policy, right? Like,
I disagree. I feel like they like us quite a bit. I think they're right. I think that's why most of them, like, people like tried to hype up that Abraham Accord shit, but I think that like most countries are like, listen, the fighting shit is gay. Let's just like move on and like build up and make economies.
Yeah, but the Abraham Accords like kind of led to like all of these problems. It was one of the reasons why we had the altercation that we had. But to go back real quick to the Iran thing, so I think it was a monumental failure. And I'll give you my position real quick, and you can tell me what you think. The reason why I think it was a monumental failure is because unless you affect regime change, everything else was a waste of time. And I would argue that we made them stronger by intervening, because what ended up happening was they survived the assassinations with their generals. They survived the precise attacks with the nuclear scientists. They did. They did. But the Ayatollah's still alive. They still have their military intact to a degree. Yes, they were weakened. Yes, Mossad did a fantastic operation getting behind enemy lines and destroying air defense and jamming radars. Fantastic. But they did all that and, showed their cards, and they couldn't effectuate the regime change because they were hoping that by them, doing all this, it would make the Baloks or one of these other, rebel groups say, let's go in and like take over. And they didn't do it. Actually, the opposite happened. It united the country. The people that were critical of the theocracy, right, were like, you know what? We need to get behind the government because, yes, we don't like the Ayatollah, but we hate Israel even more. So, like, when they had these funeral processions, like, there was, like, thousands of people out there, like, saying, yes, yes, yes. So, like, it was an L for us because we actually ignited their nationalism. And then, like, the other problem also is, like, and I got this from, like, an insider that, like, understands Iranian politics, because I didn't know this. In their government, right, there's, like, the reformists, which would be, like, their Democrats, and then they're conservatives, they're Republicans. And there was a lot of fighting in between, like, hey, diplomacy with the West or no diplomacy. And basically what happened was when Israel attacked with Operation Rising Lions, they said, you know what, fuck it. We're going to hit them hard. And then they just started hitting Tel Aviv super hard. That's why we saw, them being able to attack a lot of strategic sites, hit their intel bases. And obviously Israel withheld this because they didn't want anyone to know that they were being hit. But it's coming out now that they are actually hit pretty hard. Tel Aviv got destroyed. Not all the way, but it got significantly damaged.
Definitely not. There were a couple of missiles that fell, but not significantly damaged.
Oh, dude, they did. I'm telling you, there was a ban on, and I'll show you after the debate. Like, and that's by design. Like, Western media and Israeli media purposely made sure any like journalists that took pictures or document anything, there was a chance of them going to jail because they didn't want Iranian intelligence to get precise coordinates of where they were being hit for obviously opposite reasons. Then on top of that, we know Israel,
They
was
make
created to
requests so
protect
that
the Jews.
people don't like report on like where
They
they're
also
running
didn't want
low.
pandemonium too. Two
And
main
except-
reasons.
Yeah, but like it's Tel Aviv. It's a first world country. Everybody's got a cell phone. Like you're never hiding. stuff like
Yeah,
this.
of course. And people
don't-
did put it out. Like
yeah.
there's still video, but I'm saying like like actual journalists, they were getting in trouble for it.
I
But-
don't disagree with this idea that we're making.
Oh, and just to finish,
Oh,
real
yeah, go-
quick.
yeah, go for it.
To finish my position. So, we united the country. The regime is still in power. All we've done is embolden them to get the nuclear weapons even more so now because they're like, now we need a nuclear bomb, right? They kicked IAEA out, which the IAEA.
International Atomic Energy
whatever it
Association.
is. Yeah, the long story short, they were supplying us with information about their nuclear capabilities. Now they're gone. The last person actually just left today from Iran. They kicked them out. So we have no oversight of their nuclear program. And me and you both agree that leaving a nuclear deal was absolutely stupid. So now we have nothing. And I think that if anything, since we didn't get rid of the regime and they've mastered the cycle, the centrifuge cycle, they're going to get another nuclear bomb. And let's assume we go off what Trump and Hegseth said, 1 to 2 years behind. Well, so what? The regime is there. They have the capability to build another nuclear bomb is my position. So I think that us intervening, we spent billions of dollars to help defend Israel, to bomb their nuclear facilities, and they're just going to rebuild it. That's my position.
I mean, like when it comes to an overall comprehensive view of what the Middle East should look like and what our approach to Iran should be, I'm not going to argue that our view right now is incomprehensible. One of my biggest complaints about Trump is I don't think he's a mind for politics or foreign affairs or anything. I don't think he has like an overall, like if you ask Trump, like, what do you think the Middle East should look like? He'd probably just draw like an Israeli flag over every country or something. Like you guys are a fucking idiot when it comes to that. So like our overall approach, our overall approach is definitely like incoherent. But I mean, given a list of bad options, I would say Iran not having access to nuclear weapons is something that not only we prefer, but every single actor in the region would prefer. It's just very scary when you've got an actor that it takes so much like overt effort to fuck with other countries. Whether it's expeditionary force in Iraq, whether it's Hezbollah in Syria, and obviously in Lebanon, whether it's Hamas, whether it's the Houthis, like they have their fingers in so many different things. And then for them to be completely and totally safe from any attack now, because Israel can't really attack them if they have a nuclear weapon, things get way more weird at that point. And I think any world where they don't have a nuclear weapon is beneficial to the stability of the region, the stability of the planet, and literally every interest that we have in the region, both country interest and like trade and oil and everything else.
So I would agree with you that them having a nuclear weapon is bad.
Yeah.
I actually agree with you.
I will say that you keep arguing like on their perspective. If I was Iran, I would be barreling towards a nuclear weapon. So I understand their perspective.
Yeah.
Ever since Syria fell, I think that was a huge signal to Iran where it's like, okay, well, fuck. Especially because, and I'm not a fan of anything happening right now, but like Trump did them kind of dirty because I'm pretty sure that attack from Israel came it was like 2 or 1 day after the
it was right before
negotiations.
they hit him on like a Thursday or Friday. It was supposed to be Sunday. Yeah.
And it was like the problem
Really
is
bad
that,
diplomacy.
yeah, but I don't even know if this country does diplomacy right now. I don't know. We're 90 days, 90 trade deals. We have 0 so far. Like everything foreign affairs wise is fucked. So yeah, I think that Iran has every incentive right now to continue towards.
And I think we push them that way because I agree with you that them having a nuclear weapon is bad. But I think like we had the ability to have control of it and have them,
but we don't have the leadership right now.
And
The one thing that we have to counterbalance is like, so I fully believe that Israeli and U.S. interest is aligned in a lot of ways. I know you might not agree with that, but
they are in many ways.
They are in many ways, but Israel also has interests that are
but they
absolutely
need far more aggressive.
Yes, they're not aligned with the United States. So, for instance, the United States, regardless of what any retard says, the United States does not want regime change in Iran. Israel absolutely wants regime change in Iran.
I think they would be okay with it, but they're not willing to put boots on our ground to effectuate
we would be okay with it insofar as like maybe because Israel wants it, but the reality is like a collapse in Iran could lead to all sorts of catastrophic. It could lead over into Iraq, into Afghanistan.
And I would argue the base, like saying like no fucking wars, like that. I think that stalled his like decision making. Like, oh man, I need more time. I think he would have been way more into this conflict if the base didn't rebel so bad. Because that was
because Israel is full steam ahead on that. If the U.S. is like regime change, Israel's like we've already got like 5,000 Mossad in place.
Well,
to give us a signal.
That's why Mike Waltz got fired because he wanted to have a plan where they literally put boots on the ground and they were going to send special forces into these nuclear facilities and really like try to get shit going.
Sure.
So but yeah. So I think it was a failure on my end. I think from a U.S.-Israeli position, it was a failure because our goal was like we don't want them to have nuclear weapons. We emboldened them and we nationalized them where they're patriots.
At the very least, I would push them off it, right? Let's say do you think that the world is a better place if Iran starts to have nuclear weapons in a month or in 2 weeks?
No, it'll create problems. But,
okay.
but I'm arguing my position isn't that them having nukes is bad. I think them having
isn't that having nukes in if having nukes in 2 weeks would be really bad? Isn't pushing it like 6 months? Isn't that? Well, I know we did in the past, but now we have to work with what we have now.
Yeah.
Do you think them having nukes in 2 weeks is better than them having nukes maybe 6 to 12 months from now?
I think they can get them faster.
Well, I mean, a lot of their stockpiles have been blown up. A lot of their centrifuges have been blown up. Like, it's going to be...
A lot of the uranium was got out. Multiple reputable sources are saying around 400 kilos was snuck out. I would not be surprised if they didn't have other clandestine operations going on, knowing that they were going to get hit. I mean, their 3 main nuclear facilities, the whole world knew about it. I would be shocked if they didn't have
I feel like I'd be more shocked if they were to hide them from all the infiltrated Mossad in their country. I feel like Israel would have known and told us.
Well, they just busted another ring today.
Sure.
The IRGC busted another ring today. So, again, my thing is, I think our bad foreign policy has kind of led us down this road where it's like now they're saying death to America.
The worst options.
Let's go ahead and get nuclear weapons. Like, we could have totally avoided this if we didn't have the nefarious influence of Israel saying we don't want a nuclear deal because they're going to build nuclear weapons anyway. It's the real reason is that Israel wants regime change and they want to be the hegemony.
Sure, but I would say the fault there is Trump because Israel didn't want the nuclear deal we signed under Obama. So I mean, like,
yeah, I would agree with you. I think him pulling out of the nuclear deal because of Israeli lobby pressure was a big fucking mistake. Huge. But like, I think from our perspective, I think it was L. I know you're saying, hey, we pushed it back. I think if anything, if we did push them back, their resolve is greater. Now they're definitely going to get a nuclear weapon. And we've just made everything worse for everybody in the region.
Okay. I think
that's my position on it.
You two agree on a lot, it sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, I still think we should cut. Do you think we should give aid to them?
Israel?
Yeah.
Yeah, to everybody in the region. I think it's a good region to be friendly with. And I would hate to see that region fall to somebody else's influence, especially when something has happened in the past several years where it feels like a lot of our enemies are having issues. Like I think Russia's running into a significant amount of issues. Watching Syria fall is good for the U.S. technically. So I mean, like I think that
I honestly think if we cultivated Saudi Arabia, they'd be a better ally than Israel.
In all my historical reading and in all my current understanding of Saudi Arabia, I don't even know what Saudi Arabia does or like, well, like they have like a military supposedly, but like I don't know what they do. They've been
I'll give you real quick.
Fuck all. They have like, I don't know.
Sure, I'll give you my position.
War between Israel and the countries is like Saudi Arabia sends like 3.5 tanks and like 1 jet.
Yeah,
sometimes we'll fly and land in Egypt.
They basically have a weak military, but like we give them all their protection. But my position is like if we had cultivated a relationship with Saudi Arabia versus Israel, Saudi Arabia from a religious perspective, right? Mecca, Medina, very religious. Like they're kind of the leaders. That's why like them coming into the Abraham Accords would have created so many problems. It's actually one of the chief reasons why Hamas attacked, because Hamas knew if Saudi Arabia comes into the Abraham Accords, that's like the leader of the Muslim world. So it would have the Palestine question would have been answered. So that actually prompted it. So I think if we had cultivated that relationship, we would have been better off.
I mean, we have cultivated. We have a good relationship with Saudi Arabia. We've had for like 20 years, right? I think that the issue with the Abraham
without Israel
was more without Israel.
Yeah, because I think Israel's been putting a lot of it's created a lot of diplomatic problems for us all across. And then like with what's going on in Gaza just makes us look worse in the international scene, right? And it's like we deal with all their problems, all their blowback because we're the ones funding them. So all the bad shit that they do, we have to eat it. And even when we tell them, hey, Netanyahu, don't do that, he does it anyway.
We definitely have an issue. Yeah, you need a leader with a lot of vision to solve the Palestinian issue with Israel. And I think the big reason for the Abraham Accords, why Hamas was emboldened after that, is because Trump basically furthered the Netanyahu goal of saying, fuck dealing with the Palestinians, we're just going to keep pushing it off to the side. I think was a big thing.
Yeah, and they couldn't afford for Saudi Arabia to come in without answering that question because they would have been cooked. Yeah. Now, again, like obviously what went down on October 7th was horrible, but I do think it's very important to understand like why things happen and why bad foreign policy leads to these issues.
Myron Gaines absolutely took Destiny to school tonight, I feel. Destiny may have had some flashy talking points, but his arguments fizzled out quicker than a Diet Coke left in a desert sun. Myron made it crystal clear though, America's reckless love affair with Israel isn't just blowing up billions, it's blowing up any chance at lasting stability in the Middle East. Destiny's over here hoping for a magical Middle Eastern kumbaya, but Myron brought us back to reality. Iran is stronger, Saudi Arabia is part of BRICS, and Uncle Sam is stuck footing the bill. Bottom line, Myron didn't just win the debate, he demolished Destiny's narrative, rebuilt it, and demolished it again for good measures. Destiny came armed with idealism, but Myron countered with realpolitik, leaving Destiny's rosy worldview shattered all over studio floor. If you enjoyed watching Destiny catch a geopolitical beatdown, make sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and share this video faster than US aid hits Israel's bank account. And now over to you in the comments. Do you think America should rethink its Middle Eastern strategy, or are we doomed to keep repeating these billion-dollar blunders? Catch you in the next one.